Howdy, howdy, Suitable here, and welcome to a quick follow-up to our bloated corpse testing video. Had some just great comments in the on that video and discussion as to what the ability is doing, how it's acting, kind of how am I looking at it and everything. It's just fantastic. I love comments. I always say I love them, and it's because they always make things a little more interesting. So, and they spur a lot of videos, like a lot of testing too. So I thought I wanted to look at the test in specific, and I had some great comments as to, really where is this damage coming from. I was looking at the bloated corpse doing a ton of damage, and I didn't even dawn on me for some reason that the bloated corpse has a melee attack, right? and an actual, melee hit before they explode. And there was a great comment that the bloated corpse damage is sort of like the foot of Gork, which makes a whole lot of sense because the foot of Gork is very powerful. And there was a discussion on, does the damage fall off over distance away from the bloated corpse, and sort of how does it occur. So I thought, what could I do to test this bloated corpse and the type of or how the damage will propagate. So what I did is I've got here a whole bunch of necromancers, and they've just got their 15 armor, and I want the bloated corpse to run into this one so they can see how the damage propagates this way, and this way, to see if it's symmetrical, to see if it falls off, and to see how big it is, and to see the damage that hits that first necromancer. Now this is a replay, so it's a little tricky to pause it at exactly the right level, but we will try and I just love the way this blood corpse is animated. I don't know why it always makes me laugh, but it just does. Okay, so we're going to get this. So this is the melee attack coming, and boom. Okay, melee attack has hit. Alright, so it has hit the first necromancer right here, and the necromancer is down to 2093 from 2565. So 2093 from 2565, 2093, 2565, and just equals this minus this. Okay, 472 damage, and I saw one here where he had 470 damage, and I just put together the weapon strength. 420 weapon strength, 140 normal, 280 AP, charge bonus 34, which is broken up between normal and AP, bonus versus infantry of 25, broken up between normal damage and AP, and no impact damage is stated between 10 and, it's between 10 and 70 if you look at the rules on this TWW stats, which is goes over the collision damage. Default is 10 if no attacker is identified, and the maximum is 70. So this is on twwstats.com KV rules, but I love this website. It's so good. Anyways, so the average damage when you calculate this, when you take away some of the mitigation from the armor, is going to be 461 plus whatever impact damage is what it so that's the average. So it'll be a little more, a little less because of the randomness of the damage. Now, the randomness of the armor mitigation. So we look here. So we're all at 2565, and I'm going to try and catch this explosion the best I can. I mean, this is really hard to do. So he's hitting, and boom. Okay. So we've got this necromancer 2486. This one's still 2565. So the explosion propagates, meaning it's not instant in the whole area. So it starts hitting this guy's 2486. This guy's 2486, 2565. So it's symmetrical, and the damage is even. So it doesn't appear to have any randomness in it, is what it appears. I mean, I could be wrong, but we look here, and this guy's 2488, and he's probably a little bit closer at 2483. It's really hard to grab these guys. Okay, 2007. So the guy who's right at the explosion went to 2007. So we went to 2007, and that equals this minus This, so we're sort of looking at 86 damage. And we notice it was killing Demigryph Knights, which have 210 health per. And it, like, easily killing all these other things that sort of had 100 health per. It's just sort of, but then it didn't kill Necropolis Knights, which had 288 damage. Okay, so, and we're all the way up to 2565 with the Necromancer here. So the explosion is starting to propagate, and it's kind of hard to see. I should turn off my effects to do this test, but anyway, so I'm going to, boom. You saw the explosion propagate from the effects. Now, has it propagated everywhere? Not really. So this effect hasn't actually equaled the explosion propagation. So we're at 2498, 2486. So this Necromancer, 2498, is slightly closer to this one. It's still 2565. Or no, maybe this one's 2499. There we go. And this guy is 2494, 2565. So we'll notice, like, it's on this one, it's going to go out a little bit more. Boom. You can see now that's the actual propagation. You can see these guys starting to fly. 2565, 2565. It is in the animation, but these guys are not being hit until you get to here, 2512. And if we go closer, the damage should be more. 2512, sure enough, 2507, 2501, 2488, 1925. And it's kind of a damage over time. It's not like they all get instant damage, because now this guy's at 1925, and that was our original guy who was at 2007. So 1925 he's at now. 168 damage is what he's taken extra from the explosion. So I'll try and just let it go a little bit more. Okay. So this guy has not been hit at all. This guy, I think, is taking as much damage as he's going to take. And again, not hit, not hit, not hit. And this guy's flying. He's obviously been hit. Only 2512, so very little damage, but he's actually been sent flying. This guy's 2565, he's okay. 2507. Where are we? 2488, 2406. Where's our Necromancer? It's probably this guy right here. See if we can grab him. The guy, yeah, okay, this guy's flying, 2507. I'm trying to find the guy who originally got hit. Oh, it's right here is what it looks like. 2488, 1925. So 1925, he's still at 1925, so he hasn't taken any more damage. And we've got here, this guy's 2511, and this guy's 2565. So it's kind of radiated in about sort of a 25 meter radius-ish, 20 meter radius. And now it's definitely stopped doing extra damage. This guy's at 2511, so we'll just watch him, and I'll let it go a little bit more. And he's still at 2511, so it's stopped doing damage, and now the animations are just resolving. I've got a guy in the air here, but these guys, 2565, 2565, 2565, 2565, and this guy, 2511 all the way over here, 2511 all the way over here, 2498. It's hard to grab the right guy. 2407, is that what that is? 2511. It's hard to grab with all the right guys, but it looks like the damage is pretty consistent. So you got 2511 here, 2511, and it did hit almost right in the middle. And these guys, I just strung them out, just using the computer to try and make sure their distance was evenly spaced. And then I set these guys really close to each other to try and make it so it was they were close there. But 2512 is one of the damages here. 2511, really close. 2511, 2511. And it appears that the damage definitely does propagate out, and there's more damage that's a little closer. And 2511 damage is not a whole lot for 2565. It's it's sort of like 50 damage ish, and like 54 damage, which wouldn't be enough to kill Demigryph Knights, which have 210 health, but yet in the fight they still kill that Demigryph Knight. Kill 14 of them. So the guys that are closest, 2406, So 2406. Is there anyone who's less than 2406? Oh, God. I wish it was easier to grab these guys actually to check them. 2486, 2499, 2406. I just want to find a sort of a damage level. 2494, 2406. Yeah, 2406 is sort of the deepest one, so we'll go here. 2406 equals this minus this. Yeah, 159 damage, 168 damage, which is a little bit weird because to that Necromancer, the explosion is only doing 159 damage, yet we know our Cold One Dread Knights are 210 health, our Demigryph Knights 210, or Cold One Dread Knights are 120. I would think that they would stop really killing models between the Demigryph Knights and the Cold One Dread Knights, but it's definitely killing Demigryph Knights. So that seems a little bit odd when I look at the actual damage we got here. So still a little bit more to understand about how this explosion works on the insides, you know, because you're killing 14 models. Like, these models are, you know, they're closely spaced, you know, but you would think the damage seems to fall off quite quickly, that you wouldn't see as many kills in that, but you still certainly do. But if you think about this ability like Foot of Gork can wipe out a cavalry unit, an infantry unit, and that's apparently what this a bloated corpse explosion is most like, is a Foot of Gork, and this is what it appears when it to do when it actually hits an infantry unit or a cavalry unit, sort of Foot of Gork-ish type of brutal damage. But anyways, I just want to do a quick video to show this sort of propagation of the explosion and how it functions, just out of curiosity, and you know, have a bit of discussion about some of the comments. And the discussion is, okay, what kind of damage is this? What kind of explosion are there? And there are explosions that propagate, and there are explosions that have consistent damage, and there's wind spells that have consistent damage and stuff like that. Fantastic comments. I really enjoy the comments and making sort of videos like this that are based on the comments. And I've had a kind of quite a few really cool comments on the Bloated Corpse video, and I really do appreciate all the comments. I had one comment too, so someone said, you know, I didn't mean, I was, you know, I thought maybe I came across a little harsh in my comment. And I'm like, don't ever think that. You know, when you come to looking at information and trying to understand it in a group setting, I think you gotta not really worry about, turning someone's the wrong way or anything like that, because this is how we learn. You know, like one of the things I really like about the group in my channel, and you know, this is a pretty specific type of channel. I have tons of spreadsheet work, and you know, lots of analysis and lots of discussion and really getting into the weeds. And I know for a fact, because I've, you know, talked to a few of you guys, quite a few of you guys, and over time, is like, the group of people here is generally very technical. Like, I'm an engineer. I know there are other engineers. There's people in IT. I've talked to, you know, a guy who's a chemist, and there's like all kinds of very technical people, that maybe even people that aren't in technical training but end up in technical type of jobs. You know, I mean, there's the group of us that are here that are really enjoying spreadsheet videos. we're a pretty technical bunch, and technical conversations, I think you start with the premise of you know, I don't know, or I don't understand something, and I want to understand it better. So when I'm doing testing, and you know, I know you guys do testing too, lots of you guys do testing, and you start not knowing. And you don't start knowing and understanding everything in its full and complete manner from the start. And when you do the test, you start to learn. And that's, everyone here I know loves learning, just the act of learning something. And when you say you're learning something, you're essentially saying, I'm learning something to continue that I did not know before. So you don't start knowing things. So that's how you actually gain knowledge. And the most powerful part of doing this for me personally is the comments, because it really accelerates how much you learn. I can't even tell you how many great comments I've gotten over the past 2.5 years. When I do a testing video or an analysis video or a strategy video, I'll get comments and discussion. I like all comments, even when it's just people stopping in to say hi. But people will say, well, maybe this is what's going on. Like I had a great comment talking about, well, could miners be good against cavalry? And turns out they're fantastic. Well, not as fantastic as true anti-large, but they're not too bad. And you learn. I've done technical videos on how formulas work, and someone's pointed out a mistake in the formula. And doing videos like this, you're gonna make mistakes, and especially when you do them live, your thinking is going to, you can get caught on the thinking. I know when I was looking at this live, I was like, my mind was like stuck on, for some reason, my mind was, all the Bloated Corpse does is explosive damage. For some reason, it wasn't truly dawning on me that the Bloated Corpse's weapon strength was for an actual melee attack that could occur before the explosion. I don't even know why that is. It's weird how you think sometimes. You get locked into thinking about what is the explosive damage, and then that's all you think about. And so it's kind of funny to go through that process. Like when I do this process live, I kind of want to do more of this because you can learn faster. Because other people can look at how you do it, and you can have that discussion in the comments, and you can learn much faster, and which I really quite enjoy. And I think that is quite powerful because a lot of people, well, some people will put up testing videos that won't really show their testing, or they'll put up top 5s or top 10s, and they'll always preface it saying, I've done some testing, or this is sort of my opinion, or based on experience and stuff like that. I like to try and put my testing out so there so you can see exactly how I've performed the testing. So that part is as objective as possible. You can say, this is what looked like occurred to me, and you can have that discussion very fast, so the learning cycle is quicker, right? When I do these types of things, when I start testing a unit, I start doing what I was showing in the very first video, Bloated Corpses. I just start testing stuff, just for fun, running units into units. And, I slowly learn a little bit, or I get these problems and I work them out myself, and it might take me a couple of days, or I do a little bit of testing. And then eventually I'll make a video on it that seems a little bit more complete. It seems like I somehow know this, but I didn't start knowing it. I didn't know it at all. I just started running units into units and looking at what the results were. And then I learn about it, and then I present something. And I think going back to the beginning of the testing is a much more raw state of testing where, I'm figuring it out, but I'm also get the opportunity to have, in the comments, you guys help me figure it out, which makes it even better. And I think a really perfect example of this, of like something that I did some testing with, that it's funny how when you find something weird, or is unexpected, it can lead your mind to jump to conclusions so quickly, or you can overlook the obvious. If you go back and you haven't seen my videos on, I did, dwarfs versus bugged nasty skulkers, something like that, and I looked at their ability, and I thought the ability for the nasty skulkers was bugged and proccing too much. And then you look through the comments, and it's a great set of comments. Okay, no, this is actually what's happening, I think, and this is going on. And then I made a follow-up video, bugged user versus nasty skulkers, which is really a correction of some of those things that I just didn't see or misinterpreted. And I love that kind of interaction, which I think is super fun. Anyways, so with the Bloated Corpse, the explosion definitely propagates, the damage definitely decreases the further away from the epicenter it gets, and it's sort of, when I look at the distance, it's sort of in that 20 meter, I would say, range. I mean, I was going to do a video where I had these guys with a 40 meter radius ability and set them up to be exactly 5 meters apart, but I'm like, I don't really need to do that. I just want to see the propagation of the damage. I don't need to calculate it exactly. I just want to demonstrate the mechanism. So anyways, that is this video, very quick, and a bit of a discussion, and a look at exactly how the damage for the Bloated Corpse propagates. And you still got something that, I genuinely don't understand why the damage to these necromancers are sort of in that 159 to 168 range, yet we are killing, you know, Demigryph Knights, which have 210 health. And, I understand why we can kill like a Troll or an Acropolis Knight, just one of them, because you get that melee attack in, and that's kind of a 461 average damage, plus impact damage, plus explosive damage, can kill a Troll at 494 health, and can easily kill a Necropolis Knight at 288 health, but just one. But why are we killing Demigryph Knights at 210 health? Is there something else I'm missing? Is there something else to do with the way that explosions interact with models, depending on whether they're a single entity and defined as such versus, a group model with 45 models or 24 models are defined like that. Anyways, I would absolutely love to hear from you guys in the comments on this as to what you think is going on there. Because, I want to figure it out for myself, and I'm just like, what's going on? I can't figure it out. And I've had some great comments on, Foot of Gork. Maybe Foot of Gork sort of sorts itself out differently like that. And I would absolutely love to hear from you guys in the comment. Hope you found that video interesting, and I will see you soon.